Much like Purdue is in the midst of a turnaround season, so is Iowa State. The Cyclones visiting the Kansas State Wildcats. Farmageddon in the Little Apple, and the regular season finale for both of these programs. Good afternoon, Anish Shroff alongside Ahmad Brooks. Roddy Jones will join us in a moment. Iowa State with a chance to put a period on one of the best regular seasons in school history. And it all started in the offseason when Iowa State head coach Matt Campbell went to Joel Lanning, a former starting quarterback, and said, Joel, I want you to play defense. And Lanning's response was, sure, anything for the team.
Well, his attitude and humility have been the driving force behind this team's turnaround. And to the people of Ankeny, Iowa, he's like the local Bo Jackson after being all-state in 3 sports, wrestling, baseball, and football. Joe knows everything, including what it's like to be the starting quarterback and middle linebacker. And now he's the Cyclones' leading tackler. His offensive mind has allowed him to play with great defensive instinct. And though he still plays offense occasionally, he's now a budding NFL linebacking prospect.
Meanwhile, Kansas State became bowl eligible last week, and Roddy, Byron Pringle had a big hand in that.
Yeah, Byron Pringle gives this run-based Kansas State offense a big play aspect down the field, but it's been a winding road. The junior out of Tampa, Florida, took the road to El Dorado via Butler Community College before coming to Manhattan, Kansas. And after a 4-touchdown performance last week, he certainly was thankful on the holiday week. But more than that, he's thankful for his 2-year-old son. And guys, if this Kansas State offense is going to perform like they did a week ago, they're going to need some big plays from the nation's leader in yards per catch.
Kansas State won the toss. They defer. Iowa State will receive the opening kickoff. Matthew McCrane boots it into the end zone, and the Cyclones will come out at the 25-yard line. It has been a quarterback carousel for Iowa State. Joel Lanning was the starter a season ago before losing his job. He moved to middle linebacker, as Ahmad just talked about. So Jacob Park began the season as the starter, left the team for personal reasons after the first month. Enter 5th-year senior walk-on Kyle Kempt. All he did was lead the Cyclones to a pair of top-5 wins against Oklahoma and TCU. And then Zeb Noland started last week for an injured Kempt in a win against Baylor, but it's Kempt back in the starting lineup after he suffered a shoulder injury 2 weeks ago. And joining Kempt in the backfield, David Montgomery, the Big 12 second leading rusher. And Montgomery on first down into the teeth of that K-State defense for a gain of 3. This is an Iowa State offense, Ahmad, that does not beat itself. They have not lost a fumble. They play clean. Kempt, a high IQ quarterback, as the trigger man. And a flag.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense number 67, 5-yard penalty, it's second down.
Ahmad, who are your impact players when Iowa State has the ball?
David Montgomery, the running back. He's got beast mode-like qualities when his pads are low and generating downhill power. Alan Lazard, his physical toughness and his frame allow him to be a major threat in the red zone. Trent Tanking demonstrates good concentration in traffic. And Duke Shelley is a competitive, confident quarterback with great demeanor.
Kempt throwing downfield for Alan Lazard, unable to adjust. Lazard, the all-time leading receiver at Iowa State. And it sets up a 3rd down. Kansas State banged up in the secondary. No DJ Reed. He was out last week due to undisclosed reasons. We have not seen Kendall Adams either. He was doubtful this week with a foot injury. And this is a K-State defense that ranks next to last against the pass nationally. On 3rd and long. Kempt As Lazard, who picks up the first down. Alan Lazard now with a catch in 47 consecutive games, the longest active streak in the FBS.
What I love about Kyle Kemp, he shows the capability of throwing guys open, just like he did there.
Going quickly, here is Montgomery, the shifty, elusive sophomore out of Cincinnati, and there is a flag.
Holding, offense number 75. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, first down.
Uncharacteristic, the least penalized team in the Big 12 already with 2 early penalties.
You're absolutely right. They came in here, were ranked 8th in college football in terms of giving penalties and extra yardage away, and you see them here too with early penalties that could potentially hurt this first drive.
Matchup to watch at the bottom of your screen. Jonathan Durham, a backup corner. Instead, it's Montgomery out of the backfield, keeps his balance, breaking tackles to the 37. Finally brought down by the D lineman Trey Deshawn. When we talked to this Iowa State coaching staff, they said Montgomery was the heartbeat of the team and the spark plug and catalyst of this offense.
I haven't seen a guy run as hard as he runs all year long, and you saw his outstanding acrobatic catch he just made there to turn an entire 360 and still while catching Kemp's ball.
Kemp to throw. He's got Trevor Ryan, former track star at Northern Iowa, picks up 4, and another 3rd and long for this Cyclone offense.
Anish, you mentioned Jonathan Durham getting the start at corner, being a backup. You talked about DJ Reed being out earlier. A.J. Parker, number 12, got the start in that spot last week, the redshirt freshman, but not on the field today. And on that last 3rd down, they went to Alan Lazard on Jonathan Durham's side, so we'll see if Iowa State decides to go there again.
This is caught by Lazard, and he fights his way to midfield. It's 4th down, about a yard shy. Cree Moore with the stop, and an early decision now for Matt Campbell.
Yeah, I'd go for it here if I'm Matt Campbell.
And they're going to bring in Joel Lanning, part of the Lan-Ram package, and this likely means quarterback run.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's literally their middle linebacker. One of the most amazing stories in college football. Lanning is directing traffic now. He'll take a direct snap, and he can throw the football. But I'm with you, Anish. Here, he'll probably use his legs.
They'll hand it off to Montgomery. And what does Montgomery do? He breaks tackles, and he picks up a first down. Broken tackles is an unofficial statistic, but by one measure, he leads the country in broken tackles.
Yeah, in 2014, Pro Football Focus started recording broken tackles, and he's broken the record this year of Leonard Fournette, Kareem Hunt, and Dalvin Cook. Just to show you how special this kid is, he's extremely hard to tackle, just elusive enough to make defenders have to worry about not tackling him like a power back.
Kemp back into the game. He'll throw. He's got Deshaunte Jones. Jones and Montgomery grew up together in Cincinnati, and that's a gain of 9, 2nd and 1.
And they'll move Jones all over the field. Sometimes he lines up in the backfield. And he's that player for them that really can wreak havoc in the inside with the slot, trying to get him matched up on safeties and get him in positions where he can do what he does best, which is work in the open field.
Montgomery on 2nd and 1, and tumbles for a first down as the Iowa State Cyclones move the chains on an impressive opening drive that included a 4th down conversion. Back to Montgomery. He's got a hole. Wrapped up at the 30 after a gain of 3. Jade Kirby on the stop. Kirby had 12 tackles last week in a stunning win by Kansas State in Stillwater. The Wildcats went up by 29 in the second half. Oklahoma State came back, cut it to within 5, had the ball late, but the Wildcat defense made a stop. On second down, this is Sheldon Croney. David Montgomery went down late last week against Baylor. It was a bit of an ankle injury. Clearly Montgomery's okay, and Croney got 4 carries, had 45 yards in that game, both career highs. Picked up 13 there. Underneath, and there is Croney inside the 10. A second and short coming up.
Yeah, just an option route out of the backfield there, and Croney is more of the home run hitter, and I think he's an excellent mix-up of what David Montgomery brings to the table, more of a power style back. And he's already in his first 2 touches done extremely well for this offense.
Kemp is 6 out of 7 on this opening drive. Croney. First and goal, Iowa State, but hang on, there's a flag.
Holding. Offense, number 63. 10-yard penalty. Replay. Second down.
Left guard Robbie Garcia, and that is the 3rd penalty of this drive. So far, Iowa State has been able to come back after being behind the chains.
Yeah, and one of the things about Iowa State, they've only got 5 touchdowns in their last 16 red zone chances. So this is a team that has not been extremely sharp inside of the red area, and penalties like that could be the difference in them punching one in or them having to opt for a field goal.
And now Kemp wants a timeout. Second and 12 for Matt Campbell's Cyclones. They're threatening. Croney, 3rd down.
This was just a poorly thrown ball. They went back to the option route out of the backfield from Croney. It picked up some decent yardage early on in this set of downs, and then this time Kemp just couldn't connect as the route was there. So here's where you have it. 3rd down along with red zone. The formula for this is simple. They look to find mismatches with their playmakers. With Montgomery off the field, the guys now are going to be Hakeem Butler, number 18, and number 5, Allen Lazard. And Allen appears to be doubled down here at the bottom with a safety and a cornerback.
Butler's in the slot. Kemp, high throw intended for Margie Murdoch, and it's 4th down.
Yeah. Kansas State has already shown their hand. It appears as though defensively they are going to try to take Allen Lazard out of situations like this. They actually went to triple coverage, had the cornerback inside and underneath, and then they had a linebacker also dropping underneath coverage with the safety over the top. That's the treatment that a guy like Allen Lazard at 6'5", 222 deserves, which should give the other wide receivers some one-on-one matchups.
36-yard field goal attempt for Garrett Owens is good. Powerhouse Mount Union. Dominique Heath on the return. No DJ Reed. He's one of the top kick returners in the country. Let's check in with Chris Cotter in the ESPN studios.
AT&T Field, Passionish. What a gut check for Ohio State today. Down 14-0 in the big house. They storm all the way back. Mike Weber putting the finishing touches on this comeback. Buckeyes 31-20. Big Ten championship game is next.
If Ohio State beats Wisconsin, are they in the college football playoff, Ahmad?
I don't believe so. But, I mean, there's a lot. You asked me that question, I'd have to know a bunch of other scenarios that took place in the country, but I don't think so at this point.
Why?
Why? And that's why I just said I'd have to know a bunch of other scenarios, tell you why. A lot to be played out, man.
So they need help. Alex Barnes doesn't. He gets 6. coming off a game in which he ran for 86 yards and a touchdown. At quarterback for Kansas State is Skylar Thompson, making his third start of the season. He's the third different starting quarterback for Kansas State. Struggled in his first career start 2 weeks ago against West Virginia, but was outstanding last week in a road win against Oklahoma State. The give is to Barnes. And tackled by who else? Joel Lanning, who has played close to 900 snaps on defense, offense, and special teams this season.
Yeah, he shows good range while watching him on film, his closing ability in short area. And, you know, the staff said earlier that they didn't realize how fast he was until they put him out there defensively, and he surprised them with his speed. Now, this is a third and short situation. Byron Pringle last week versus Oklahoma State was a key target. They like to find some speed cutouts to him, and Skylar Thompson actually was really good on this down a week ago.
Against a four-man rush, Thompson has nowhere to go. He'll run out of bounds right at the line of scrimmage, and 3 and out goes K-State.
The key you just said was a four-man rush. For Iowa State, this is not a defense that's going to heat up the pocket and bring a ton of pressure. They're going to drop back, cloud up those passing windows, and force Skylar Thompson to either beat him with his feet like they did now, rally to the football, or have to make a precise throw. That time there, he couldn't do it. Iowa State 3 and out. Heck of a start to the game for the Cyclones.
Nick Walsh's punt, fielded by Trevor Ryan inside the 20. Ryan with nowhere to go, and a staple for years for Kansas State has been special teams play. Good punt coverage after a 50-yard kick by Walsh. Tonight on ESPN, it is the Palmetto Bowl. Clemson and South Carolina. Tigers won 56-7 last year. They've won 3 in a row. Prior to that, South Carolina had won 5 in a row. Dabo Swinney has Clemson firmly in the playoff picture, and this is the last hurdle for the Tigers before the ACC championship next weekend against Miami. David Montgomery still on the sideline, and Sheldon Croney in at running back to start this drive for Iowa State, the sophomore from Bakersfield. Croney runs into Trent Tanking, former walk-on who's the leading tackler for K-State. Roddy with an update on David Montgomery.
Guys, they were working on the left knee of David Montgomery. They took off his shoe and slid a sleeve onto that left knee. He's up trying to walk around, visibly disappointed, though. I don't think that knee is responding quite the way he expected. We'll keep an eye on him. No official status yet.
That would be a big loss for Iowa State.
Indeed.
Croney into the embrace of Jade Kirby. It brings up 3rd down. The heart of this Kansas State defense is number 58, the middle linebacker, Trent Tanking. Had 9 tackles last week and did it while playing with a broken hand. You can see he's got a club on one hand on the sideline right now. Kempt has an open receiver, and Iowa State able to move the chains. Margie Murdoch, a gain of 16.
As they're getting right up to the ball to snap this ball, you see what Kyle Kempt is really good at: buying time, extending plays, and a sharp pass downfield.
Croney straight up the middle to the 41. So many profiles and courage on this Iowa State roster. So many stories of players overcoming adversity. Croney's one of them, a young man who came to campus after a self-inflicted gunshot wound to his hand. Kyle Kempt began his career at Oregon State, never saw the field, went to Hutchinson Community College in Kansas, never saw the field, walked on to Iowa State, and has become a folk hero. A lot of contact, a big collision, a flag down.
Holding offense, number 67. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, second down.
Left tackle Campos, fourth penalty on Iowa State as you look at Kyle Kemp, high school valedictorian, a computer science major. Had nowhere to go after a stint at Hutchinson, so he walked on. Got his first career start on the road against Oklahoma and led the Cyclones to one of their greatest wins in school history. Crony, incomplete, tanking all over him, and it's third down. High school valedictorian. Then went to Corvallis. He was a much sought-after high school quarterback. The JUCO route. And then how about the wins against Oklahoma and TCU in the month of October? Two teams that were ranked in the top 5.
Colossal wins.
He's been one of the great stories in college football. Near sideline, Lazard with a drop. It would have been short of the first down had he caught it. And the punt team and Colin Downing on for the Cyclones.
Yeah, that's 2 consecutive drops. You hope that the Cyclones wide receivers clean that up. Sheldon Crony dropped the one previously on an option route, and then their All-American wide receiver, Alan Lazard, couldn't hold the football there. And despite Kemp being very accurate, he throws a very soft and catchable pass. He's not the guy that's going to zip one in there and put too much velocity on the ball. The wide receivers and the pass catchers for the Cyclones got to do a better job.
Downing boots it away. Here is Heath. Makes a couple of men miss. Heath turns the corner. Accelerates upfield. Gets a block. It's a foot race. And Heath tripped up. Unless he stepped out of bounds before that. They will mark him down inside the 25-yard line. DJ Reed is the ace return man. He's been out now 2 games. Last week, Byron Pringle took a kickback. Now Dominique Heath nearly busted one.
Yeah, it was great patience. And for Heath, as a returner, you've got to make the first guy miss. He made the first 2 guys miss. And then the wall was set up there. Perfect opportunity there for him to get out in front. Excellent return. We saw Byron Pringle change the course of the Oklahoma State game last week with a kickoff return for a touchdown. Now can this offense, with great field position, punch one in after the wonderful return?
They may look at this from the naked eye, and on that replay, seeing it a second time, it looked like he may have stepped out before.
The field is that the return did not step out of bounds prior to the dead ball spot. We'll review the play.
So the booth upstairs will look at this. I thought on first glance and looking at the replay that Heath stepped out. Yeah, right there. He's out of bounds.
What's it, at the 31-yard line?
Can't quite tell the yard marker there. Our screen is probably smaller than the one you folks have at home, and I think the 41-yard line was where he stepped out of bounds, and you can see it right there. That foot does go out of bounds.
Guys, they're going to lose some yardage on this review. I think we all see that he stepped out of bounds a little earlier than where he was spotted. But you have to give a lot of credit to the other 10 guys without the ball on this Kansas State special teams. They have been great in the return game for years and years. And the fact that DJ Reed is out last week, you still get a kick return for a touchdown from Byron Pringle. You saw the big punt return here. It's a testament to the system that's been built by Kansas State.
And to your point, Roddy, they are...
After further review, the returner stepped out of bounds at the 31-yard line. It'll be Kansas State's ball, 1st and 10 from the 31. Will the clock operator please reset the clock to 3 minutes, 5 seconds, 3:05.
The 31-yard line, not the 41. Kansas State has had its own QB carousel. Jesse Ertz began the season, hurt his knee against Texas in early October. Enter Alex Delton. He started the next 4 games, had to leave his last 2 starts with a head injury, and then Skylar Thompson finished those games for Delton. And he's now making his 3rd career start. He keeps getting better and better. He'll hand it off on first down, a gain of 3. Alex Barnes on the carry. Thompson last week, 200 yards passing, nearly 100 on the ground, accounted for 4 touchdowns. Took a big hit late in that game, had to leave the game, but did come back on the final drive to seal the win for K-State. Out of the Wildcat now, Dalvin Warmack, direct snap. He is tackled almost immediately, picked up a couple, 3rd down. Last week, Ahmad, we saw Kansas State be at its most effective offensively when they used the quarterback run game.
Absolutely. 17 carries, 93 yards last week for Skylar Thompson. I thought he really gave this offensive boost with his legs.
Movement up front. Jaquan Bailey and France got into it. Who moved first?
Offside. Defense, number 19, came into the neutral zone, causing an offensive reaction. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
5 penalties in this first quarter for Iowa State. The least penalized team in the Big 12 coming into the game. Matt Campbell told us how his team would respond in this environment would be a really good measuring test of how much they've accomplished and where they stand at the end of this regular season. Thompson will throw. He's got Isaiah Zuber tackled in his tracks by the graduate transfer from Georgia, Reggie Wilkerson.
Impact players for Kansas State, Byron Pringle. He demonstrates the ability to get on DB's toes and run right by him. Junior fullback Winston Dimmel plays with a wide power base and impressive downhill strength when blocking. Joel Lanning, his ability to read plays, dissect him, and get to the ball is unbelievable. And last but not least, nose guard number 76, Ray Limmer. Physically intimidating type build, and this kid right here has very good overall size and strength.
Play clock down to 2, down to 1. Warmack. Tornadoes ahead to the 13-yard line. He's going to be a little short of the first down. It brings up 3rd down. Brian Peavy, the starting cornerback, number 10 in white, playing for Iowa State despite an arrest on Thursday for an apparent vandalism charge. We were told he would be in the starting lineup and no discipline.
Iowa State going to a 4-down look, which means they are expecting run on that side of the ball.
I should say we were told Peavy would play. We see him in the game. And now we reach the end of quarter number 1. Iowa State with a field goal on its opening drive. Kansas State threatening. K-80. Iowa State, Kansas State, Farmageddon, 3rd and 2. Kansas State in the red zone. And they're going to the Wildcat. It's Dalvin Warmack, or rather Alex Barnes, who will take the direct snap here. Winston Dimmel, the fullback. Barnes running behind Dimmel with a big block. Barnes bouncing off the tackler, and it's 1st and goal, Kansas State. 38 in purple, Winston Dimmel is the unsung hero of this offense.
Yeah, he took it to Willie Harvey, the linebacker there for Iowa State, and clears the way for this running game. And it's very easy to determine where the football's going, but if you're a linebacker, once you get there, you've got to deal with 6'1", 235 pounds of pure blocking potential in Winston Dimmel.
Dimmel, the son of offensive coordinator Dana Dimmel, and Winston, a two-time first-team all-conference fullback. Thompson hands it off. Barnes plunges ahead. Second and goal from the 7.
One of the hardest areas to score is when you get down here, because then defenses can jam numbers inside of the box to prevent you from running. And if you're Kansas State, outside of Byron Pringle, maybe the only guy that you trust to win one-on-one matchups at a consistent rate. So the defense can then force and roll their coverage to him. So for Kansas State right here, more than likely, if they're going to get in, they're going to probably give another rushing attempt here, but they want to get it in via the ground.
QB run comes into play here as well. Thompson. As Dimmel pushed out of bounds, it sets up 3rd and goal. Willie Harvey knocked him out. Ball at the 3-yard line. Remember, Kansas State without one of its go-to receivers, Dalton Schoen. He's out with a collarbone injury. Dayton Valentine, the tight end, did not play last week. We have yet to see him today. K-State a little cagey in terms of how much they reveal when it comes to injuries. This could be a free play. Thompson, stiff arm, end zone, touchdown. Did not see a flag.
Yeah, it appeared as though Ray Lima, the nose guard, the outstanding nose guard for the Cyclones, jumped off sides, but give Skylar Thompson credit. The execution there, the patience. And we saw this last week out of the young quarterback, the redshirt freshman from Independence, Missouri, with an excellent job there of getting behind his blocking and then sliding into the end zone.
PAT by Matthew McCrane is good. You get the feeling you're seeing the future of the quarterback position for Kansas State now. The redshirt freshman Skylar Thompson gives the Wildcats the lead. Punt return by Dominique Heath, setting up a short field, and Skylar Thompson taking it in. And now a flag as Kansas State kicks it out of bounds.
Free kick out of bounds. Kicking team, number 16. The ball will be placed at the 35-yard line. First down, timeout.
Official timeout. Iowa State ball from its own 35. 7-3 Wildcats.
Chris Cotter in studio with an update on the Iron Bowl. Kerry and Johnson. Little jump pass right there to Nate Craig Myers for the score. Auburn has jumped out on top of the Tide, 7-0. Guys?
Thank you, Chris. Chris Cotter in the studio with Jonathan Vilma. No Chip Kelly this week. Our colleague, now the head coach at UCLA. First down, the give is to Mike Warren, his first carry in 6 games, and he picks up a couple. He's now been relegated to 2nd and 3rd string on the depth chart with the emergence of David Montgomery, but 2 years ago, this was the Big 12's Offensive Freshman of the Year. He rushed for more than 1,300 yards. Play action. Ryan. Got a yard, 3rd down.
Yeah, Iowa State in their run-pass option package, where they will actually hand Kyle Kemp 3 plays. He can hand it off to the running back. He can keep. That time there, he saw Kansas State in man-to-man on the outside edges. And these teams that run these RPOs believe that that is an addition to their running game. Look for them perhaps to even get back into it now. Despite Kansas State putting both of their safeties back, it appears as they're locked in for zone coverage on this one.
Cyclones need the 45. Kemp steps up, has running room. He'll take off, takes a big hit. Elijah Sullivan laying the lumber. And Kemp is going to be a yard shy of the marker, and it appears the offense is going to stay out on the field.
This is not Kyle's strong suit running the football. However, it was open, and I give him credit. They dropped back numbers, clogged up those passing lanes, and Kyle got caught in between making a move and trying to get the first down. And the defense, Elijah Sullivan, came up and laid the boom.
And I can tell you guys, the Iowa State coaches are cringing when they see that Kyle Kemp didn't play last week with a shoulder injury to the throwing shoulder that he just got hammered on.
Punt team comes on. Downing's kick. Out of bounds. No chance for a return this time. And Kansas State with a 3 and out. There is a flag near midfield.
During the kick, holding, kicking team, number 55. During the kick, holding, receiving team, number 55. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick, first down, timeout.
So the penalty on Ian Rudzik. Kansas State with a 7-3 lead and the ball. 10:47 to go, first half.
ESPN College Football. Brought to you by Courtyard, Fairfield, 4 Points, and Spring Hill Suites. We live by the golden rule.
World War I Memorial Stadium opened in 1922 as a tribute to K-State students who died in the war. Today they still use the stadium for lacrosse, soccer, rugby, and marching band practice. Bill Snyder has this team bowl eligible for an 8th straight season. The Wildcats able to do that last week with their best win of the season on the road in a shootout against Oklahoma State. K-State will begin from its own 11. Only 32 yards of total offense, but they've got the lead. Isaiah Zuber, team leader in receptions, out of bounds after a gain of 3. Again, Chris.
Baker Mayfield suspended for 1 series in this Oklahoma-West Virginia game. Comes back in. CeeDee Lamb with the score. So it's 14-3 Sooners after 1 on ESPN. Anish.
Oklahoma will play TCU in the Big 12 championship. Iowa State coming into the weekend had a slim chance, but they needed a Baylor upset over TCU. That did not happen, so the Big 12 championship is all set. And there is a championship game this year. No running room that time for Justin Silman. And it sets up a 3rd and 6.
And an unusual miss on the block there from Winston Dimble as Willie Harvey Jr. doing an excellent job of maneuvering through traffic to put them in a 3rd and medium situation. And I can tell you, Iowa State is not intimidated by the skill position players for Kansas State, which means they can put in numbers and really allow themselves to stop the run. It appears as though here they're going man-to-man on the outside edges.
Thompson, bad pass, and it's incomplete. I thought that was nearly intercepted.
Well, he was looking right into the sun.
How did Peavy miss that?
Well, he was looking right into the sun and didn't even see the ball coming. It almost hit him in the chest. And you'll see it here. Excellent job. He's in man-to-man on the outside edge there. You see him as he rolls in. That's a man roll. He turns back around.
Boy.
Couldn't even see the ball.
That's a pick 6.
Absolutely.
Little Manfred man action, blinded by the light.
Ahmad, you nailed it. That sun is just over the stadium and was right in the eyes of Peavy on that one.
Trevor Ryan brought to the ground immediately after a 47-yard punt. Eli Walker looked to be the one to make that special teams play. The ESPN app is a fan's best friend. Clearly, that's what she's got going on the phone right now. Monitoring other Big 12 scores. You can stream every ESPN and ABC college football game live at home or on the go. That's what Roddy and Ahmad will be doing tonight on the drive from Manhattan to Kansas City. Sheldon Croney for a gain of 2. We have still not seen David Montgomery since that first Iowa State drive, and that has been the Cyclones' lone scoring drive. Roddy mentioned this is a Kansas State defense. Trent Tanking playing with a broken hand, missing 3 players in the secondary, and the Cyclones the last few times have not been able to move the ball. Murdoch brings that in short of the marker, tackled by Durham. It's 3rd down.
Great concentration and leaping ability there for Murdoch to shorten their 3rd down distance here. We saw earlier on a 3rd down, they dropped numbers back, forcing Kemp to beat him with his arm, and then he opted to run. Nearly got the 1st down before getting blown up by Elijah Sullivan. Here, within this distance, you can still run the football to get the 1st down.
Near sideline, Ryan is open, turns upfield. A former track star tiptoes along the sideline and into K-State territory, a gain of 18.
He moves so well. He's just a very fluid athlete. And you saw him there set up the defensive back to come back inside on the cut. And nearly tiptoed on that sideline, as you said, Anish, and caught out.
Cyclones looking to go quick after a 1st down. K-State brings 5. Here's the pressure, and Kirby in the backfield for the sack, his 4th of the season.
And it was a perfectly timed blitz. Despite Kemp seeing the blitz, there was nothing he could do. As he came right through the left side of this defense. You'll see Jade Kirby, excellently timed blitz. As he gets home base and brings down Kyle Kemp and really forces the Cyclones now behind the chain on 2nd and long.
Kirby is senior, a former junior college transfer, had 3 forced fumbles in a game against Kansas last month. Kemp steps up and slides down as Elijah Walker came flying in, a gain of 8.
Kansas State goes back to a 5-man pressure. This time, the Iowa State offensive line picks it up. And Kemp making the wise decision. The pocket opens up. He breaks right through the middle of it and picked up enough yardage now to put them in a 3rd and long situation, but much more manageable than what it would have been had they been in the same position.
They need 10. Kemp under pressure, sacked. Joe Davies, the 2nd sack on the drive for this Kansas State defense. And it's 4th down for the Cyclones.
Yeah, they went to a twist in the middle of the field, and that's what allowed Davies to get to the quarterback. He started out to the defensive left, rushes, comes back underneath, and was able to drag down Kemp for the 2nd sack on this set of downs. Kansas State's defense stepping up.
2 return men for K-State. Downing's kick, a fair catch is signaled for and made by Pringle, but there is a flag back at the 35-yard line. Running into or roughing? That's going to be the question here.
Running into the kicker, receiving team number 41. The penalty is declined. Kansas State's ball, first down, timeout.
Difference between a 5-yard penalty and roughing would have been an automatic first down. A break for Kansas State. They've got the ball and a 4-point lead. First down, Kansas State from its own 10-yard line. Wildcats can clinch a winning season with a win today. Skylar Thompson to throw. Under pressure. Chased by Lanning. And Thompson throws it away. Chris with an update on the Iron Bowl.
No need to throw this one away for Jalen Hurts. Looks like he's going to run. Nope, pulls it back out. Jerry Jeudy fights the defender and goes up and gets this one to tie the game at 7 apiece in the Iron Bowl.
If Alabama loses, do they still get into the college football playoff?
I think so. And that's why when you asked about Ohio State earlier, with a one-loss Alabama out there, that's still much more attractive than the 2-loss Ohio State to me.
A couple of yards for Justice Silman, and he now has more than 1,000 for his career. A former walk-on out of Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Nish, you mentioned the fact that Skylar Thompson got comfortable last week with the quarterback run game. We still have not seen that yet today, and it bears mentioning that Skylar Thompson did leave the game last week, late in the game with an apparent leg injury, and the fact that there's really not a backup quarterback with any experience behind him. That may be the reason that we have not seen a lot of that quarterback run so far today.
You're right. Jesse Ertz has been ruled out for the year. Alex Delton has not seen the field since the Texas Tech game. We get a timeout from the Wildcats. And Thompson right now is the only healthy scholarship quarterback to our knowledge. You've got Hunter Hall, you've got Nick Ast, but those two are both walk-ons. Skylar Thompson in high school was the Gatorade Player of the Year in Missouri, a 4-star recruit. In his redshirt season last year, he won the Red Raider Award, which goes to the best offensive player on the scout team. And he's involved with the Big Brothers and Big Sisters of America program. There's his little buddy, Mackay. And when you've watched him over these last 4 weeks, he started the last 2 games. He replaced Alex Delton in the previous 2 against Texas Tech. Kansas State down double digits in the 4th quarter. He led the Wildcats to 3 straight scoring drives en route to an overtime win. Then had some first start jitters against West Virginia, but boy, he looked like a 5th-year senior last week against Oklahoma State.
Absolutely. 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, completed 77% of his passes.
To the air on 3rd down, pressured by Harvey. And he is dropped a couple of yards before the marker by Marcel Spears. Thompson slow to get up as he'll trudge off the field, and 4th down now for Kansas State.
This Iowa State defense right now is playing extremely well. They are forcing Kansas State to find the windows, keeping everything in front and doing a great job of tackling in space. And because of that, the Wildcats, with only 7 points right now to their name.
They have the lead despite 44 yards of total offense. Ryan with the fair catch at the 41. Tonight on ESPN, it is number 3 Clemson against South Carolina. You can watch it on ESPN and the app. Tigers in the playoff picture, and you want motivation. I don't know if it's still in the Clemson wide receivers room, but for years they had it. We haven't been there this year. There is a picture in their wide receivers room of former South Carolina quarterback Connor Shaw signing a Clemson helmet with the inscription, "This is our state," and surrounding that picture, the final score from South Carolina's 5 consecutive wins over Clemson in this rivalry.
Stir the pot, why don't you? You gotta love rivalry week and games where you're taking on your arch rival and in-state rivals in particular.
Kyle Kemp to throw. Batted down. Will Gary, the all-conference D lineman, former walk-on from Topeka, made the play. Second down.
They stout that time there, showing his awareness. Couldn't get to the quarterback. Threw up those big old paws, and that is a big play on first down. And particularly what it does now is it gets in the head of Kyle Kemp, because you just don't have those easy passing windows when the defensive linemen are stopping their charge to put up their hands.
This offense has been going in neutral and backwards without David Montgomery. Over the middle, there is Alan Lazard. And he is to the 41 of K-State, a gain of 18, wide open in the middle of the field.
What I love about Alan Lazard is he's just a big and physical wide receiver who is not scared of going across the middle of the field and catching in traffic.
Back to the air. Looking for Lazard in traffic. And it's 2nd and 10.
Great job there from Jade Kirby, plastering right underneath Lazard in the double coverage, preventing Kemp from getting the target he wanted. He wanted him back on a simple post route once again, very similar to the in-breaking route he had before. But the Wildcats defended it perfectly, which now forces them in 2nd and long.
And guys, this Kansas State defensive line has done a great job of getting to Kyle Kemp and making him feel uncomfortable. That time, I think he let the ball go a little before he wanted to, and Will Geary made him pay for it.
Kemp 12 out of 19. Hands it off to Mike Warren. Warren taken down at the 36-yard line. 2 years ago as a freshman, Warren ran for 195 yards against Kansas State.
Yeah, he's much more an elusive back. But in these 3rd and medium situations, this is when you really wished you had David Montgomery, who's one of the top pass catchers for this team, but also the most forceful runner, perhaps in the Big 12 and in the country, when it comes to breaking tackles, wearing down defenses, and really bringing the pain to defenders.
Play clock at 5. Camped over the middle, caught by Lazard. Alan Lazard inside the 10. And finally stood up at the 5-yard line, a gain of 32. And Lazard getting his here in the first half.
Back up on the ball here for Iowa State, trying to press the gas. But Kemp here connecting with his top target.
Kemp dropped the ball, throwing incomplete. K-State just able to get off the field, almost a 12 men on the field penalty.
2nd down.
It's one of the down turns and falls too, playing so fast and quickly as Kemp is coming off of the field. And you see Joel Lanning coming on, but when you run with pace like that, sometimes you rush so much that you're not even ready or prepared. And that time there, the center, Julian Good-Jones, just snapped one right past Kyle Kemp.
Iowa State has not lost a fumble all year. Joel Lanning now, the Land Ram package, as you said. And a timeout by Matt Campbell with 2:20 to go.
Prior to the snap,
and the Cyclones
Iowa State
staring at a second and goal.
Timeout to have.
Not this week.
I've got my jacket on. Beautiful weather. Beautiful football weather indeed.
2nd and goal from the 5. Joel Lanning hands it off. That is Croney taking it for about a yard and sets up 3rd and goal. 5th carry for Croney. That is a career high.
He's just not suited as well as David Montgomery for those inside runs. As Roddy can tell you, in between the tackles, David Montgomery is one of the best in the country.
defenders just fall off of David Montgomery. It doesn't matter if it's in the open field or between the tackles. Doesn't matter if it's a defensive tackle or a safety. He always makes the first man miss, and that's what you miss when he's out of the game.
Kempt back in. Lazard at the bottom of your screen. Archie Murdoch in motion. Looking for Lazard. Incomplete. He was covered well by Duke Shelley. And a big 3rd and goal stop for Kansas State.
Yeah, and we'll check out this ISO. Duke Shelley got a little handsy with Alan Lazard on the outside edge. Really prevented him from being able to turn around. But that, when you are 5'9", 175 pounds, and I understand taking on big wide receivers, you've got to be physical with them. You cannot allow them to get free releases. You've got to stay within their pads and rough them up constantly. Duke Shelley doing a nice job in coverage, though that play could have gone either way.
Owens with a chip shot field goal. It's good. His 2nd of the game. And it's 7-6, but this Kansas State defense, tanking is banged up. The secondary is depleted. We thought this could be a little bit of a matchup problem. It hasn't been so far.
Not at all. And you got to give them credit. They are very aggressive. They're sound in what they do. They play with extremely good gap integrity, meaning if they've got the A, the B gap, the C gap, they are there. And they are going to be there on time, and they're going to make a play. Very rarely do you also see this team miss tackles. So when they have an opportunity to drag down ball carriers, they do. And that's what you've been able to see here with the Wildcats.
Kansas State only 44 yards of total offense, but the Wildcats have the lead, and their lone touchdown was set up by a 43-yard punt return by Dominique Heath. Special teams has been such a weapon over the years for Kansas State. Their best return man, DJ Reed, not playing for the 2nd straight game, but this guy, Byron Pringle, ran one back last week against Oklahoma State and takes it out across the 20-yard line. Chris Cotter.
Guys, Dave and Buster's halftime report coming your way in a little bit. Jonathan Vilma will join me. The Iron Bowl right now is great between Auburn and Alabama. Really close game. Highlights of that one, plus highlights of the Buckeyes comeback earlier, but in controversial fashion as JT Barrett is hurt. Plus, Baker Mayfield sitting out the first drive, but it didn't matter for Oklahoma. They're important points on the board against West Virginia. All those highlights and more coming up, Dave and Buster. See you then.
We look forward to that, Chris. The Baker Mayfield Heisman conversation will get interesting after this week, and especially after what happened last week, his actions at the end of the Kansas game. He apologized, but integrity is part of that Heisman Trust mission statement. Final 90 seconds of this opening half, and Alex Burns takes it to the 29. Barnes, second fastest to 1,000 yards in school history, behind only Darren Sproles.
He was a pretty good player, wasn't he?
He was okay.
One of the most difficult people to tackle to ever come through the Big 12.
Wildcats have 2 timeouts, not taking one. Letting the play clock run down. Iowa State just 1 timeout. Barnes powering ahead. 3rd and 1. They'll give him forward progress to the 32. And Kansas State does not have to call another play. Bill Snyder, when leading at the half, 178-11. He's won 94% of the games he's coached in where he's had a halftime lead.
Yeah, 178-11. Amazing.
Been a defensive slugfest through 30 minutes here in Farmageddon. And Kansas State will take a 1-point lead to the locker room. 7-6 Wildcats coming up next after a quick break. It is the Dave and Buster's halftime show with Chris Cotter and Jonathan Vilma.
halftime report.
Dave and Buster's halftime report. Jonathan Vilma, Chris Cotter. We have got a lot of highlights to get to today. Rivalry Saturday and some lowlights. Let's start with one of those. Georgia taking on Georgia Tech. Nick Chubb, this Bulldog running game really got going here early. And then when the running game gets going, you know what else gets going? Jake Fromm up top.
Yeah, Jake Fromm up top right here. Javon Wims. Going to be a nice touchdown. Look at all the time he has to throw the ball. I know you're hating these highlights, Chris, but that was a good pass. That was a good run after the catch, too, for the touchdown.
He found Wims earlier in the game. He finds Akil Crumpton there for 78 yards, 38-7. All Bulldogs. Number 19, Oklahoma State hosting Kansas. Mason Rudolph had a huge game in this one. Dylan Stoner's great athlete, goes 76 yards here.
Yeah, it was easy all day. It was Oklahoma State. They had their way with Kansas, as have many other teams. Oklahoma State's offense still looked pretty legit, as they always do.
Yeah, I mean, Rudolph had 438 yards passing. Here's 30 to James Washington. 4 total touchdowns for Rudolph, 58-17. Pokes. Florida State and Florida. Not really a very offensive game, as you would expect, because these two defenses are certainly better than their offenses. Felipe Franks here going to get strip sacked by Brian Burns, and Jacob Pugh takes it to the house.
Yeah, it was a great job by Florida State defense all day long, finally turning it up defensively, scoring some touchdowns. Florida State offense didn't do too much, but that defense really held it together.
Oh, the Noles only had 216 yards of total offense, but here's Levante Taylor.
Yeah, looking like me running in there. You agree with me, right, Chris?
Again,
come on, agree with me, Chris?
About 70 pounds. Knowles was big, though. UConn taking on Cincinnati. This is wild. UConn down 7, 2 seconds left in the game. David Pindell going to throw to the end zone. Looking for Hergy Mayala. Incomplete. There's a flag, though. Pass interference on Cincinnati. So an untimed down to the 2 for UConn. Pindell's going to roll right.
Here we go.
Looking for a receiver. Looking for a receiver. Looking for a receiver.
Looking. Throws it. Oh,
Mayala scores. Nice. Well, Randy Edsel said, let's go for 2 in the win. But there's a flag, unsportsmanlike on Mayala. He stood over the defender and taunted him.
Oh, you can't do it. First of all, you're 3-9 or you're 3-8.
So you go for the tie and they send it into overtime. No.
in UConn fashion right there. That's how you lose the game. You're 3-8 and you're taunting a player for scoring a touchdown.
Cincinnati wins. Louisville taking on Kentucky. Remember Kentucky beat Louisville last year, and Lamar Jackson remembers. Early in the going, things get a little chippy.
As it should in this rivalry game. He remembers last year. Don't push me, I'll push you back. I'm a quarterback, but I'll still jump in there. I'll get into a little skirmish right there. I like it. I like it. Look at him.
Match. I mean, this is a
He
full-on
pinned
fight.
him down. That was a little MMA move right there. He's smiling about it.
Jackson over 200 passing, over 100 rushing. Just
game ball.
Look how perfectly that ball is thrown.
I'm telling you, his passing game has improved so much this year. It's still a shame he's not included in the Heisman.
Says Patrick with the score there. SMU at Tulane, fourth quarter. Ben Hicks is going to find Trey Quinn, who has like 1 million receptions on this season. There's 1,000,001. It's a touchdown. Put SMU up. So Tulane gets the ball back. One final shot. Jonathan Banks, look at the clock. 9 seconds. Going to try and keep it himself. Stretching the ball over, but he can't get in. The officials rule him down before he got into the end zone. Look at the clock.
Wow, I thought he was in. That looked like he was in, and it's too late now.
The clock winds down. SMU wins.
Oh.
Tulane, unfortunately, kept out of the end zone, kept out of a bowl game. Wow.
This halftime report is presented by Dave & Buster's, the only place to eat, drink, play, and watch sports.
Back here at Bill Snyder Family Stadium, about ready for the start of the third quarter. Kansas State with a 7-6 lead on Iowa State. And the Cyclones will kick off to begin quarter number 3. Byron Pringle takes a knee in the end zone as we take a look at the Pacific Life game summary. David Montgomery, the Big 12 second leading rusher, came out of the game for Iowa State after the first series with an apparent knee injury. Had his knee iced coming out of the locker room for the third quarter. Cyclones defense has done a good job holding K-State to just 53 yards.
Yeah, they've been stout. They're tackling in space and doing an excellent job right now of containing Skylar Thompson.
Iowa State, though, 2 trips to the red zone. They've had to settle for 2 field goals. Kansas State, meanwhile, used a big punt return by Dominique Heath to give them a short field, and that set up their lone score. From the 25, Skylar Thompson to the air. Flushed. And taken down after a gain of 1 by Vernell Trent as we check in with Roddy Jones.
Guys, I had a chance to catch up with Iowa State head coach Matt Campbell at halftime, and we mainly talked about his team on offense. He said they need to protect Kyle Kemp better and ultimately finish in the red zone. And Anish, you mentioned the fact that David Montgomery left this week after the first drive. He came out with ice on that left knee and in tennis shoes. Now remember, he left last week's game with an ankle injury, and I'm told that it was the same ankle as he has the knee injury on this week, guys.
Yikes. We'll keep an eye out on Montgomery. Coaches called him the spark plug, the heartbeat of this Iowa State football team. Dangerous pass tipped and broken up by Everett Edwards, who came to the Cyclones last year as a graduate transfer from Duke.
Yeah, great awareness there from Edwards. He comes off of his man to make a play on the corner route on the backside. And Kansas State has struggled when it comes to their opening drive of the second half. In the last 3 games, they have not scored on those particular drives. And here they're faced with a 3rd and long situation. But I'll give them credit. Their last 2 plays on 1st and 2nd down, they have tried to take shots downfield. They'll need that right here for a conversion.
Thompson nowhere to go. Running toward the sideline. No gain, and it's 4th down. And we saw this 2 weeks ago, Roddy, at West Virginia, or against West Virginia in this building. Mountaineers brought a 3-man press. When the first option was not open, Skylar Thompson panicked.
Yeah, this Kansas State passing game is really predicated on Byron Pringle and Isaiah Zuber winning in one-on-one situations. When they drop 8, it's really tough for him to find one of those guys. So we saw a lot of Skylar Thompson scrambling in that game and in this one as well.
Here is Trevor Ryan from inside his own 25. Tries to Magellan and reverse field, but is erased by Tyler Burns for a loss.
Excellent coverage there from Kansas State.
Sunday NFL Countdown, 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN. Sam and the guys have a behind-the-scenes look as Matt Ryan went undercover at the Falcons team store, and then Monday Night Football, Texans and Ravens in Baltimore. John Harbaugh 11-1 in night games since taking over as the Ravens head coach. No David Montgomery to start the 3rd quarter. Sheldon Croney in the backfield. A career-high 5 carries already. Archie Murdoch tackled immediately by Duke Shelley. 3rd catch for Murdoch, a graduate transfer from Illinois.
I like what Tom Manning, the offensive coordinator for Iowa State, did there. He pulled a guard from the opposite side and got Kyle Kemp on the move. And I think those are positive situations for him. If they can continue to do that, maybe that'll open up some passing windows on the outside edges of the field that he rolls to.
Now Kemp changes things up. Here's Ryan. On the end around. The track star able to pick up a couple, setting up a 3rd and short. And let's see if Joel Lanning comes in a short yardage situation.
He will not come in. Actually, yes, he is. Along with their tight end, who's 6'7", 230 pounds, a redshirt freshman from Nixa, Missouri, Chase Allen, who they love to run behind.
Lanning up the middle, bulldozes his way across the 30 for a 1st down.
He just ran over Will Gary, who is 6 foot, 298 pounds. Watch Lanning here. like a linebacker, just leveled the defensive tackle. Excellent effort from the starting middle linebacker slash Wildcat player, Joe Lanning.
Kemp to the air looking for Lazard, and he makes the catch. When we spoke to Joel Lanning, he told us when the coaching staff said, we want you to move to defense, there was zero hesitation. He didn't want to transfer. He said the decision was simple. Continue to play football at Iowa State or give it up. He had no intention of going anywhere else as the Cyclones pick up a first down. And the trickle-down effect of that decision to go from the glamour position of quarterback to linebacker, that had a profound impact on this team in the offseason. And all the coaches said that was the start of the success Iowa State had in 2017.
It's amazing, the story. And, you know, and several people from this coaching staff, including head coach Matt Campbell, as Trent Tanking is down on the field for the Wildcats coming off, have said this is the best story in college football, and it is hard to argue it when you see plays like that. And I asked him, what are your goals, Joel, coming into the season? He said, I wanted to get 100 tackles, lead this team in tackles, and he's already accomplished that with more football still to be played.
He had 20 tackles in a game against Texas. And defensive coordinator John Haycock said, I've been doing this for 35 years. He's never seen anybody do what Lanning has done. And it's not just the transition. He's become an all-conference linebacker.
100%.
Crony to the edge. And it rumbles to midfield.
Guys, talking about Joel Lanning, you know, when we talked to him on the phone earlier this week, I asked him, what does it mean to you to get this opportunity? Because he was a guy who said, I didn't want to play 5 snaps on offense for this Iowa State team. And now he's a legitimate NFL prospect. And he said, you know, I just feel really blessed for the opportunity. And the fact that the coaches suggested to move over, you know, you could tell how grateful he was that they found a spot for him.
Kemp will run. Roddy, it is a little bit of be careful what you wish for, because instead of playing 5 snaps per game, he's played almost 900 snaps this season, probably over 900 now. And he admitted to us, yeah, I'm a little tired going into week 13.
It's incredible. The average offense runs about 60 plays a game. He plays about 80.
Kemp downfield. He's got Deshaunte Jones. First down, Iowa State. Jones, the sophomore out of Cincinnati, who had 2 touchdown catches against K-State last year.
Yeah, this was a great adjustment to the ball downfield. And nickelback, Cree Moore was in coverage, and Jones just wanted it more.
Another red zone chance for Iowa State. Jones in motion. Kemp rolling to his right. Slides inside the 10.
There's just no one there, and several of the Kansas State defenders were lost. They didn't even know where the ball was at. They all kind of moved to the defensive right, and Kemp saw some open grass and decided to take it. Now you've got a 2nd and short situation. Here's the deal. They've got 2 outstanding red zone targets. You've heard me talk about it. Alan Lazard at 6'5", Hakeem Butler at 6'6". These guys are nightmares in the red zone, and they were both lined up.
Kemp, end zone, incomplete. Coverage there by Denzel Goolsby. The pass was intended for Murdoch, and it's 3rd and 6 from the 9.
That's great coverage. And excellent job there from Denzel Goolsby to track it down. And you watch him here. He utilized the back of the end zone here. We like to call that as defensive back the 12th defender. Force everything over the top and make that window small for a quarterback to have to drop it in. And though that should have been caught by Murdoch, it was great coverage by Denzel.
Lazard at the bottom of your screen. Kemp Floats one up for the end zone. Murdoch holds it in. And Iowa State takes the lead.
Outstanding execution by the quarterback, Kyle Kemp. And when we see this replay, you will see a pump fake. Originally, we're going to the wide receiver here. Marchie Murdoch, who just had a drop, comes back on a double move. And Kemp just throws him open. Much like I said earlier, he threw it into a space, allowed Murdoch to get under it and to catch the ball. Very difficult for defensive backs to be able to cover once that happens, as it appears as though Iowa State is going to go for 2 here.
You like the call?
I do. I think the way they just drove the ball downfield, that was something that we did not see from this Iowa State offense in the first half. They've got command right now on this particular drive. Why not go for it?
To make it a 7-point game. Incomplete intended for Jones. And instead, Iowa State settles for just 6. They get in the end zone for the first time. Kyle Kemp, his 12th touchdown pass of the season. It's the 5th TD for Marchie Murdoch.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Jiffy Lube, proudly pouring Pennzoil Synthetics.
Kansas State's on-campus memorial to the fallen soldiers of World War II. You see the tags of honor. The memorial was dedicated in 2011. A chance for Byron Pringle, who took one back last week. And Pringle this time taken down at the 16-yard line. A 65-degree day in the Little Apple in the 101st meeting between Iowa State and K-State. Iowa State gives up less than 20 points per game in the Big 12. And when you look at Big 12 offenses, that says a lot.
It's amazing.
Kansas State today has managed less than 55 yards so far. How did the Wildcats get their offense going?
I think the first thing is to get their quarterback, his athleticism activated, meaning he needs to be able to run the football. And the second part of that is they're dropping numbers back. And because of that, the Kansas State wide receivers have to do a better job of finding soft spots in the zone to get open. And then once that happens, Skylar Thompson has to be as sharp as he was last week, finding those targets and getting him the football.
Thompson today just 3 out of 6, 12 yards. He was 10 of 13 for 203 last week. Justin Silman, not much running room as we check in with Chris.
Guys, Bo Scarborough finishes off a mauling drive by the Alabama Crimson Tide. The last 4 plays just chewing up yards on the ground. Carlson kicked a field goal, though, 14-13, tied on top in the 3rd.
We will keep a close eye on the Iron Bowl. Of course, Auburn with a win would go to the SEC championship game. Georgia awaits. Tigers had their way with the Dogs just a few weeks ago. Dominique Heath pushed out of bounds by Willie Harvey, a gain of 7. It's 3rd and 1 now for Kansas State. Wildcats just 2 out of 6 on 3rd down today.
Yeah, but you heard me say, you asked me the question, how do they start to pick up some yardage, move the chains? That time there, everybody went deep. So what they did was they checked down to Dominique Heath. That may be an option for them moving forward, is to allow this team to drop back, check down, and then allow your players to work in space.
That was the longest pass play for Kansas State. On the ground, it's a 1st down and more. Silman into Iowa State territory as he rips off a 30-yard run.
That was a perfect play call there from Dana Dimmel. The blitz, as you will see, will be coming to the defensive right side, and they popped this one right out of the back. of the offensive right, which allowed him to be patient to get through that hole. And Justin Silman with a big run, the young man from Tulsa, Oklahoma, trying to do work in the backfield, and that's exactly what the Wildcats needed on third down.
1st and 10 from the 45 of Iowa State. 6.5 to play here in the third. Back to Silman. No gain. Joel Lanning, the first to meet him. Lanning continues to be everywhere.
Lo, when I watch this kid, his offensive mind has really opened up a part of his defensive game that defensive players work their entire lifetime to try to figure out. Dissecting plays, reading where things are going. He plays the middle linebacker's position like a quarterback. There are times where he'll jump the ball before anybody else has even moved on the defense.
Thompson, and it's incomplete, intended for Heath. It's funny because when we talked to Joel Lanning, he said when he played quarterback like a linebacker.
Yeah, he did, and I mean, this kid did it all at Ankeny, Iowa. You see baseball, wrestling, football, just a complete superstar. Started 14 games between 15 and 16, where he had some impressive wins, including my Longhorns. And then now, the transition to middle linebacker has been outstanding. Joel Lanning is, as we've talked about all day long, it is one of the greatest stories in college football. And you'd have to search far and wide to find this type of transition from one year to the next for a player.
One of Lanning's linebacker mates, Willie Harvey, the Cyclones' leading tackler last year, is down. Maybe we can get some sort of exemption. Wouldn't you love to see Joel Lanning sit down with John Gruden
that would
in
be
a quarterback
great.
camp?
I'm all for it.
Texans, Ravens, Monday, 8:15 Eastern on
and pick up this yardage, but you need your offensive line to reset for the Cyclones.
And to be clear, he's not a redhead.
Throw the football, he doesn't have the arm strength, but he has the anticipation and the accuracy needed. I think he'd be a prime-time backup quarterback in the NFL.
Crony, flag on the play.
Ball carrier number 25, Sheldon Crony. There's a penalty flag on the play.
It's like holding there on Chase Allen, their tight end.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Holding, offense, number 11. The penalty is declined. Holding, offense, number 74. That's a 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, 2nd down.
Bryce Meeker will be the penalty that Kansas State accepts.
A sloppy game in terms of penalties for a team that's one of the best in the nation coming in here already with 6 penalties on the day. Not typical of a Matt Campbell coached team.
Iowa State needs its own 48 for a first down. Against a 4-man twist. And that is caught by Matthew Eaton. They get a big chunk back, 9. And it's 3rd down.
And that was the pass that I'm talking about, right? Now, he doesn't have tremendous arm strength, but the way that he anticipated that pass, he threw it in the right location. That's a big throw on 2nd down to chip away at the chains to make this 3rd and manageable.
There's the blitz. Lazard with the catch. Down he goes. It's a first down and a flag at the very end of the play.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense, number 6, against an eligible receiver. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Yeah, that's hard to ask Jonathan Durham here, the DB, the sophomore at 6 foot, 185 pounds, to try to take on a 6'5", 222-pound grown man from Urbandale, Iowa. Alan Lazard, his length, his frame, you know, that's like an and one there. You know, the contact there. He still manages to catch the ball and move the chains. Alan Lazard, one of the top wide receivers in the country.
Croney Amtrak's a defender and gets to the 40, a gain of 9. Sheldon Croney getting the most work he's had since becoming a Cyclone. 8 carries now, 38 yards. Really went unused in his first 2 seasons with Iowa State.
And Iowa State has looked like a different team offensively. They've made great adjustments. Give Tom Manning, the offensive coordinator, credit for the way they've played here in the second half.
Camped hit. Lazard comes down with it. A Sunday catch by the senior from Urbandale, Iowa.
He just rips the ball out of the air. His ability to leap and to catch the ball in one-on-one situations, to catch it in traffic. Watch how he just pulls the ball away here from the defensive back, Duke Shelley. Admirable coverage, but when you're taking on a beast and an animal like that who's approaching 100 yards on the day, you're going to lose some of those matchups.
A 2-time captain, a legacy player. His dad was a Cyclone cornerback in the early 90s. Croney cuts it back. And finally dumped inside the 25.
And as we talked about the length, the wingspan, the difference here, look at the height comparison here between Hakeem Butler, Alan Lazard, Jonathan Durham, and Duke Shelley. And I was a 5'8" corner. I know the types of challenges it prevents here. Sometimes they're just going to make their plays on God-given ability and size. There's nothing you can do about it if you're Durham or Duke Shelley.
How frustrating was that for you?
I mean, you know, it's one of those things where you got to get up, get your mind right, have a short memory, and get back in the huddle and ready to play because they're coming back at you.
Here's Warren. Former Big 12 Freshman of the Year, moves the pile for a first down. Mike Warren, originally committed to Matt Campbell when Campbell was at Toledo, then flipped to Iowa State, and then shortly after, Matt Campbell became his head coach.
Anish, I'd really like to see Warren and Croney in this drive really been running physically. They've been running over defenders and breaking tackles. That's what they lose with David Montgomery, his ability to break tackles. But these two guys are picking it up in his absence.
Now back to Warren, who ran for 1,300 yards a couple of years ago. Fourth trip inside the 20 for Iowa State, a couple of field goals, but they got a touchdown last time out. Kansas State, less than 100 yards of total offense so far. The opportunities have not been there for Bill Snyder's team.
Yeah, and part of that is K-State is an outstanding zone defense, one of the best teams in the country at dropping with proper depth, and the understanding they have with zone principles. That's been why they've been successful here in the red zone.
We have played 3 quarters in the Little Apple. Iowa State takes a 5-point lead to the 4th. Iowa State 2-3, Kansas State 2-4. Cyclones with a win today would set a school record for most conference wins in a season. Kansas State looking to clinch a winning record in 2017. Croney fights his way to the 11. A 3rd down coming up, and you go back to the last score for Iowa State. They got a touchdown, went for 2, didn't get it. So now a field goal, and it's still a 1-possession game.
Yeah, I was shocked that Kemp didn't go to one-on-one coverage with both Hakeem Butler and Alan Lazard to his left. He opted to do a swing pass to the short side of the field. And now you're in a 3rd down situation. Lazard at the top of your screen, one-on-one.
Here's the blitz. Kempt finds Ryan. He's got a first down, tried to stay inbounds, forced out by Goolsby. He'll move the chains. It's 1st and goal, Iowa State.
Good rhythm there on the throw from Kempt. Just to speed out there from the slot out of Ryan. And when you watch him on film, this kid can run routes. He does a great job of separating from defenders. And then there, the wiggle at the end. He can make you miss. Big time catch there from Trevor Ryan.
That was Cree Moore who forced him out. Kempt stays in from the 3. No Joel Lanning. Kempt to throw. End zone, has his man. Touchdown, Hakeem Butler. And a flag at the end of the play.
That there, dropping the ball there. Might be the call here.
The result of the play is a touchdown. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Offense, number 18, for taunting. That 15-yard penalty will be assessed on the kickoff. Try for point.
Now, we talked to Hakeem Butler during the week, and Ahmad, being a DB, the first thing you asked him was, so do you like to talk on the field? And listen, you do something like that, I don't think it's that egregious, but it's going to be called. And what did Hakeem Butler tell us? I don't wear a mouthpiece, so I can trash talk.
I mean, it's a silly play, but being a defensive back and being a part of some of these highly contested matchups.
And being a talker yourself.
Oh, I was. Now, this is uncalled for. You've already caught a ball. You've already run an outstanding route. There's no need to do that. Point to the scoreboard and say, you know what? I got you. But don't throw the ball at my man. But Hakeem Butler with an excellent route and a touchdown.
Now, you trash-talked Jerry Rice, didn't you? How did that work out?
It didn't work out good. But I had to try.
What did you say to him?
I don't even remember, but it wasn't smart, whatever it was.
The question is, did Jerry talk back before or after he burned
He didn't even know my name.
This was an older version of Jerry Rice, right? Yeah. All right, later tonight on ESPN, it is Clemson and South Carolina. There should be some trash talking. Big rivalry game, obviously. Clemson has won 3 straight in this series. South Carolina had won the previous 5. And the Gamecocks are in the top 25. Will Muschamp is building something, and they have a chance to detonate not just Clemson's chances in the college football playoff, but perhaps the ACC's chances.
And that is a talented bunch. If you haven't watched them, they've got some bright young offensive stars.
Short kick, Pringle from the 20. Has a seam, Pringle across midfield. Down the sideline, Byron Pringle. Taken down at the 12, but there is a flag back at the 41-yard line.
During the return, holding receiving team number 13. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
Chase Johnston called for holding, negating a huge return by Pringle.
And Pringle has been shut down today after being one of the best players in the country. Play to get him started, and you can see the frustration on the Kansas State sideline. Coaches throwing stuff all over the place. Is that Sean Snyder? I believe it is, who is the special teams coordinator. Oh my goodness, and that play there, that's just not one you want to make, and especially when you're opposite.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Kansas State assistant coach. That's a 15-yard penalty from the dead ball spot. It's 1st and 10. This is the assistant coach's first unsportsmanlike foul.
Oh boy, you know, and here's a guy that, let's just talk about it. Last week, you and I, Anish, talked about Sean Snyder, the son of Bill Snyder, potentially being the head coach at this program when his dad decides to walk away. Listen, I love the passion. However, you've got to think like a head coach if you want to be a head coach. And the reality of it is, once you've said what you need to say to the officials, you need to let your head coach do the talking. He's still frustrated. He's passionate. And I can understand why when you have a play like that, right, that could impact the game. However, you've got to control your emotions.
Bill Snyder has gone on the record and said he wants his son to succeed him as the head coach. Not because Sean is Bill's son, but Bill says it's because Sean is best suited to run this program. I'm not sure that is a universally accepted line of thinking in Manhattan. There's a lot of people that want to see that continuity, but it's not universal. Dalvin Warmack on the Wildcat. And listen, you don't get to hear a lot from Sean Snyder and a lot of the assistant coaches. And for fans out here, I think little things like these maybe stick with you longer than they would under maybe different circumstances.
I couldn't agree more, Anish. And, you know, listen, this is an emotional game. It's even for the coaches. And, you know, I'm sure he's worked hard on his unit. We saw what type of boost it was last week when Pringle had the big return for a touchdown. But at the end of the day, like I said, don't hurt your team more than they've already hurt themselves.
Warmack slipping his way for a first down. Warmack squeezing out 13. Kansas State staring at a 12-point deficit against an Iowa State team that has been stingy defensively in the second half. In Big 12 games, except for the Oklahoma State game, the Cyclones have given up 7 points or less in the second half.
That is an unbelievable stat. It really is. You've got to give them credit for the way they really tightened down to close ball games out.
They were down big against Oklahoma, came back, put the shackles on TCU. Thompson dancing around.
Skylar Thompson on the carry.
He lost a yard, second down.
Yeah, that time, Jaquan Bailey, who's the smaller of the defensive linemen at 6'2", 260, leads the team with 5 sacks. The young man from Jacksonville, Florida, is extremely fast. He uses his explosive speed to beat offensive tackles. That time he won, but he just couldn't quite track down Skylar Thompson as Skylar got away.
It'll be 2nd and 12. Skylar Thompson. Just 5 out of 9 so far, 28 yards passing. Buying time. Underneath, that is caught. It's Warmack. And he spins across midfield, a penalty marker back at the 35-yard line. And it's 2 steps forward, 3 back right now for Kansas State.
You see the ability there to escape the pocket and extend the play with elusiveness for Skylar Thompson. Man, this kid, when he's playing at his best, he's a heck of a football player.
This appears to be coming back again. You had the kick return negated due to a hold. Special teams coach Sean Snyder called for the unsportsmanlike afterwards. And now a big gain by Warmack appears to be coming back.
There is no foul for offensive pass interference on the play. First down.
Well, that's a big break for K-State.
Absolutely.
They've been called on a few of those the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, they needed that break there, and Skylar Thompson makes this play go. Only a 3-man rush, and this is what you see out of Iowa State's defense. Joel Lanning adds to the rush, but Skylar Thompson's ability to keep his eyes downfield and to make plays, even when he's pressured on the move outside of the pocket, is what shows you that this kid could be special one day.
catch at the 30. And he is slow to get up. A big hit by DeAndre Payne. K-State already down a receiver in Dalton Schoen.
Thompson dropped this in coverage magnificently. Zuber still down, and the big hit came from the cornerback, DeAndre Payne.
Iowa State brought the corner blitz from Brian Peavy on the other side. Thompson finds Zuber, and you hope that young man is okay. We'll step aside. Kansas State driving, Zuber down. 10:54 left in regulation.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Pacific Life. Experience the power of Pacific.
Kansas State and Iowa State began playing each other 100 years ago, 1917. K-State has won 9 straight. Bill Snyder has not lost to the Cyclones in his second stint as the Wildcats head coach. As Warmack picks up 3. And 2 years ago, Iowa State in this building had a 35-14 halftime lead. And Kansas State blanked Iowa State in the second half en route to a 38-35 win. That was before Matt Campbell, and that was the game that really cost Paul Rhodes his job. Warmack on the Wildcat. Across the 20, a first down. Tonight on ESPN, Clemson and South Carolina. Gamecocks looking to ruin Clemson's hopes of getting back to the college football playoff. Tigers, the defending champions. Clemson has won 3 in a row against the Gamecocks after South Carolina had won 5 in a row in that series prior.
Dalvin Warmack has really provided a spark here for them on this drive with rushes along with the big catch that he had when Thompson broke the pocket.
Zuber back into the game after getting shaken up. Give him 4, second down. Got some extracurriculars now. Isaiah Zuber from Stone Mountain, Georgia. Grew up a Kansas State fan in the Peach State.
Guys, I'm from Stone Mountain, Georgia, and I can tell you there's not a lot of Kansas State fans, but Kansas State certainly got a good one with Isaiah Zuber.
Play clock at 3, at 2. They beat the play clock. Warmack on the cutback. And spins forward for another 4. 3rd and short coming up. And Warmack was the spark 2 weeks ago when he ran for a career-high 96 yards against West Virginia. Wasn't really much of a factor last week. He's been the spark plug for this offense again today.
Yeah, he's a little jitterbug. 5'8", 187. He's like trying to catch the feather in the wind. And he's really allowed them here to now be in a 3rd and short situation out of the Wildcat. He'll run it again.
Warmack has a first down. Finally subdued by Wagner at the 4-yard line. And Kansas State in business, 1st and goal.
Watch the effort here from Kamari Cotton-Moya to try to tackle this kid. Yeah, I just said it, trying to tackle, trying to catch a feather in the wind. He just flat out misses him. And that's what happens when you're short in stature like that, but when you've got good feet. He's very shifty. And they're going back to the Wildcat with him there, which you would assume he's going to run right behind Winston Dimmel again.
Zach Reuter in motion. Warmack gets the block from Dimmel and then stood up by Wagner before the cavalry comes to hold. 2nd and goal.
Well, Dalvin Warmack didn't have didn't get a lot of playing time in the first half, guys. So part of that may be the fact that you've got fresh legs, and not just fresh legs, but Ahmad, you said it, quick fresh legs. So these guys on defense, as they're starting to get a little tired, Dalvin Warmack came in without any tread on the tires.
That's a good point, Roddy. Now they bring Skyler back in the game, but they're still opting to stay in that Wildcat look.
Pringle in motion. Warmack looking for running room, not much there. Wagner and Lanning on the stop, no gain, 3rd and goal.
Well defended, and Brian Peavy is the one who made this play. He was blocked by the tight end for Kansas State and just completely disregarded the block and got to the play. That was outstanding by Brian Peavy. And now on a 3rd and short situation, I'd like to see them put Skylar Thompson back as quarterback, open up the passing game. Now you at least have that threat there. It appears as though that's what will happen here as Skylar Thompson comes under center.
Barnes, the deep back. It's a toss to Barnes. He'll throw, touchdown, Winston Dibble.
How about that? His dad, the offensive coordinator, and the running back coach, Dana Dimmel, drawing up the play for his son, who often releases out of the backfield, has exceptional hands for a fullback, and he just does a good job. The defense never saw it coming. And Alex Barnes tapping into the old Tim Tebow there with the jump pass, which was successful. Excellent drive by the Wildcats as it results in a touchdown.
68-yard drive, 13 plays, taking up more than 6 minutes of clock, and Kansas State has made it a one-possession game. Alex Barnes, a weight room warrior and a sci-fi nerd. Let's take a look at our Pacific Life game summary. It's a 5-point lead for Iowa State, looking for its 6th conference win, 8th win of the season. Kansas State looking to clinch a winning season. Skylar Thompson, numbers not as gaudy as last week. He's been held in check. Does have a rushing touchdown. Kyle Kempt, a couple of TD passes. Kansas State less than 200 yards of total offense. Special teams set up 1 score. The last drive, the Wildcats used Wildcat to move the ball down the field.
They did. They went quite a bit to Dalvin Warmack, who gave them a spark early on in that drive with some early runs, a big catch, and then the catch from Isaiah Zuber might have been the play of the drive there, as he makes a big catch, was blown up by DeAndre Payne, but still hauled it in. Kansas State looks tough and physical there on that drive.
The Cyclones will bring it out to the 25. 6:07 left in regulation. We have a good one in Manhattan. The rankings on Tuesday could look a little different. College football playoff rankings are brought to you by Capital One. Number 2 lost yesterday. Number 1 on the ropes against Auburn. Chris Cotter's got an update after this play on Alabama-Auburn. 1st and 10, Iowa State from the 25. Sheldon Croney for a gain of 6. Here's Chris.
There it is, Anish. Alabama, Auburn, the Iron Bowl, loveliest village on the plains. It's awfully lovely for the home folks right now. Jarrett Stidham keeps it. 16 yards for the score. He gets in. 2-point try failed, but it's 26-14 right now. Auburn on top.
If Alabama loses, what happens when the committee looks at a one-loss Bama team?
Yeah, Anish, you asked me this earlier, and I'll say this. I think Alabama still gets in because of who they are, and I know that's crazy, but I also have the SEC ranked as my best conference, and I think that's the reason why they get the edge.
You know, Ahmad, I don't necessarily agree with you, the SEC being the best conference, but you're right about Alabama. You know, I think their best pitch to get into the playoff is going to be rolling out that helmet and saying, hey, we're Alabama. You know, their loss is going to be better than any other one-loss teams. I don't know if their resume will stand up in terms of wins, but I think Bama gets the benefit of the doubt.
Their resume, if you look at who they've beaten, LSU, Mississippi State, not a lot of meat on the bones compared to maybe some of the other contenders, as Crony picks up about 3. I wonder a couple of things. One, does the committee have the guts? Does the committee have the guts to leave Bama out? Because, and I know every season is in a vacuum, but if anybody has earned the benefit of the doubt that past is prologue, it is Alabama. To me, they become the ultimate case for the subjectiveness of the committee. The eye test, if you will.
Absolutely.
If Alabama's in, it is on the eye test.
And I think it makes it easier this year because you're going to have so many 2-loss teams in the mix for a 1-loss Alabama to get in.
Kemp slides down. It'll set up a big 3rd down for Iowa State. And there is a flag at the end of the play.
I think it's the right call. Yeah, Kemp was already down, and Kansas State defender tried to take a shot afterwards. Trent Tanking was the player there with the hit. We've seen this a couple times today. The official trying to sort through the play.
There is no foul on the play for a late hit. 3rd down.
Now, everybody that's a Cyclone fan is going to say that's home cooking. and if you're Kansas State, you watch it here, it didn't appear to me, and maybe he could have stopped a little bit more, in my opinion. Right now, he initiates, I'm sliding. You've got to pull off there if you're Trent Tanking, and then the shoulder perhaps to the head might have been the reason why a lot of Cyclone fans wanted that call. Now, you've got a 3rd and short situation. And I put this in the hands of Kyle Kemp and ask him to find somebody on a short route. It doesn't appear as though.
Iowa State calls their first timeout of the half.
Matt Campbell wants a timeout. 3:33 left. 3rd and 3. Tonight at 10:30 Eastern, following a Clemson, South Carolina. Sports Center with Linda Cohn and Kenny Mayne will survey the playoff race after the Iron Bowl. The latest on Kevin Sumlin's future at A&M. And did Baker Mayfield seal the Heisman despite not starting today? 3rd and 3 for Iowa State. Here's the pressure. Kept to the air. Has Ryan open. Makes the catch. Stumbling. He's going to be marked shy of the marker. There is a flag at the end of the play. Let's sort through the carnage.
Pass interference. Offense. Number 5. 15-yard penalty. Replay. 3rd down.
They got Alan Lazard on a pick.
Point blank period. And on these, it's a difficult play. For the wide receivers are taught to run in that direction and throw your hands up. But that's a clear block and a pick right there to get Ryan out in the flat wide open. I think that's a good call for the officials. Bad penalty for the Cyclones. And now you are forced to have to throw the ball downfield. And if you're Kansas State, me personally, I'm not bringing pressure here, and I'm going to force Kyle Kemp to stay in the pocket and to beat me with his arm.
8 penalties, 80 yards for the least penalized team in the Big 12. Kemp on 3rd and long, over the middle, has his receiver, Hakeem Butler. And he's got a 1st down for the Cyclones.
For an injured player.
Injured Wildcat is Jade Kirby.
Anish, that was another NFL throw. I mean, wow. I talked about his ability to throw guys open, to put the ball in a location where there's open space. We saw him on the Murdoch touchdown. Throw it to the corner of the end zone where no one was at. Watch the ball placement here from Kyle Kemp. It was outstanding. They drop in coverage. Perhaps Elijah Sullivan didn't get enough depth, but he found the hole. And Kyle Kemp put a ball on the money to his big target, his tallest target, and Hakeem Butler, 6'6", 219 from Baltimore. What a big-time throw and conversion for the Cyclones. And if they continue at this pace, that play could be the play of the game in terms of closing this ball game out.
Butler last week against Baylor had a get-off-my-plane touchdown.
Oh, goodness, it was nasty.
He turned into Optimus Prime and basically trucked right through the Baylor secondary and comes up with a huge play. Kansas State with all 3 timeouts. Cyclones run some clock. Crony up the middle, breaks the tackle. And he's to the 49. When do you start using your timeouts if you're K-State? Well, they just used one.
State calls their first timeout.
Bill Snyder will stop the clock with 2:11 left. We're back in 90 seconds. Iowa State 2 minutes and 11 seconds away from ending a 9-game losing streak to Kansas State. Anish Shroff, Ahmad Brooks, and Roddy Jones, our field analyst. Roddy, how would you manage this sequence if you're Matt Campbell?
I would be aggressive. You've got one-on-one with Hakeem Butler and Allen Lazard. You haven't had that all day. You take a shot here on second down. If you don't get it, then you can bring in the land ram package and go with Joel Lanning.
I respectfully disagree. Put it on the ground.
Out of the diamond formation, they will throw. Kempt, incomplete for Butler. That stops the clock.
That's why you don't do it. You want to force them to use their timeout. Now you've put yourself in an extremely difficult situation. Run the ball. They've already shown they're going to call another timeout. Then you bring in Lanning. Then you decide to either make them use another timeout or take your shot on a shorter distance. I don't like the play call there. I would have preferred to see them put it on the ground and run the football.
And I like them throwing the ball, but I wanted that shot to be down the field. Give your big receiver a chance to go up and make a play.
And a timeout from Iowa State.
Taking timeout in the half. 30 seconds.
Yeah, if they had that one back, you can see the disgust on Campbell's face. He knows it. I mean, I'm telling you right now, that is his job to manage those types of situations. And this is a very, look at him. He's barking. I'm telling you right now, he is displeased with that play call.
Yeah, and with the result, you can see why, because now you're in a precarious situation where if you run the ball and you don't get 2 or 3 yards, maybe even 4 on a 3rd and 6, then you're probably not going for it on 4th down. But you're right. I think you have to run the ball in this situation. The question is, do you do it with Joel Lanning or do you do it with one of the running backs?
Yeah, I think you stay with, now, even if you try to pass the ball again, now another incomplete pass stops the clock.
Well,
so now
and if
you've pretty much
ball,
given them 2 timeouts when you could have taken a timeout, punted the ball down, and let your defense come out here and win the game for you. A defense, I might add, who's only given up, I believe, 1 score in the 4th quarter of play. I roll the dice and take the chance with my defense.
3rd and 6. Here's the blitz. Kempt downfield for Lazard. Broken up by Shelley. There is a flag at the end of the play, and this might be PI against Duke Shelley.
This is tough. You've got to be physical if you're Duke Shelley, and it appeared as though that's what he was doing. He turned around on coverage. This is another one of those calls that could go either way.
Referees huddling. Twice today they've thrown a flag and picked it up.
There is no foul for defensive pass interference on the play. 4th down.
That is the 3rd time a flag has been thrown and picked up. And it's now 4th down for Iowa State. And Kansas State will get the ball back with 2 timeouts.
You do 2 consecutive throws that are incomplete passes. if you run the football, you're getting ready now to punt the ball inside of a minute perhaps, with them now having 0 timeouts.
Was that
I don't like the play call.
Was that the right call by the
officials? You take this, and like I said, you could have played through it because I thought the contact was necessary considering you're taking on a monster like Alan Lazard.
Downing kicks it away. Heath, fair catch signal, makes it at the 12. Both of these teams have been in these fourth quarter situations time and again. Kansas State needed its defense last week to step up late. They were driving against West Virginia with a chance a couple of weeks ago. Rallied against Texas Tech 3 weeks ago. Iowa State, you look at their 7-4 record, but there was a 4-point loss to West Virginia, an overtime loss to Iowa. Lost to Oklahoma State on an interception in the end zone. Both of these teams have played so many nail-biters, and here we go. 2 minutes to go. Redshirt freshman quarterback with a chance to finish the regular season on a high note. Matt Campbell and his defense looking to move one step closer to a school record in wins. Heath to the 20-yard line. Clock will run.
K-State, 99 total yards the first 3 quarters, 83 on their last drive. So they are starting to find offensive rhythm. That was a good first down completion there to get this thing going.
Got to pick up the pace. 3-man rush. Thompson rolling to his right. Barnes, sideline, makes the catch, gets out of bounds, and it's a first down for Kansas State at the 27. Clock stops with 1:21.
Anish, you mentioned that Texas Tech win that Kansas State got about 3 weeks ago. Skylar Thompson, this was a similar position. With under 2 minutes, he was able to drive them down the field, then to tie the game, which they eventually won. But Skylar Thompson's been in this position before, and being at home, I think, will help the young quarterback.
Redshirt freshman from Independence, Missouri. Cyclones rush 3 with a quarterback spot. Thompson over the middle. That's caught by Zach Reuter, just his 3rd reception of the year. It's a first down at the 40. It will momentarily stop the clock.
They've got to prevent Thompson from breaking pocket to his right. He has devastated this defense when he comes to his right. Contain him.
Over the middle. Reuter again, breaking tackles to the 35. He has more receiving yards on this drive than he did all season. Clock again runs. The referees have spotted the ball. Wildcats with 2 timeouts. Thompson under pressure, downfield, and he overthrew his receiver, Isaiah Zuber.
Oh, he missed it. And had it not been for the pressure from Jaquan Bailey, he'd have had time to set his feet and pick this defense apart. Skylar Thompson wishing he had that one back.
But Ahmad, you mentioned it. He'd been going to his right all game, and he's done a great job throwing on that side. That time gets pushed to his left, and an overthrow is the result.
Byron Pringle does not have a catch today after a monster game last week. He's the big play threat. Over the middle, Zuber able to hold on. It's a first down at the 18. 33 seconds to go. Clock stops. Wildcats have 2 timeouts, and they will use 1 here.
Ouch. They run a dagger route, running the safeties to blow off coverage out of the slot, and brought Zuber right underneath, which put the defense in a tough spot. Because now, do you carry deep? and open up underneath, and that's exactly what happened. And Skylar Thompson, who bobbled the ball, the snap, you see that inside route drives the safeties high, and then it allows that little passing window on the inside. And look, I hate to go back to it. Now you've given them an opportunity with these timeouts to come back and to game plan against you. You would have preferred to put the young redshirt freshman quarterback back at the line of scrimmage in a critical situation with no game planning, with no coach in his ear telling him what to do. And now I think if you're the Cyclones, you are on your heels, and this place is going to erupt if Skylar Thompson can come of age right here in front of the home crowd and pull off the victory.
Kansas State trailed 19-7 in the fourth quarter. They came back from 21 down against Iowa State here 2 years ago. Thompson will step up and run. And he is tackled at the 14. The clock continues to run. And now a timeout. The Wildcats have used their final timeout. 24 seconds left. No timeouts now for K-State. They need a touchdown, and they have 14 yards to go. And I go back to the way Iowa State managed the last drive. Ahmad, you said they shouldn't throw the ball. They should run it. They threw it. And by throwing it, they gave Kansas State these timeouts.
I just mentioned it before this play. Now, you give them an opportunity to game plan, and now, because you had great coverage downfield, they were able to run the football and call a timeout. I mean, if that's a situation, and you saw Matt Campbell on the sideline, he was barking in his headset. And I think if you're the head coach, that's your responsibility to manage those types of situations. And look, there's a lot of things that have gone wrong up until this point, but fans remember, we remember the closing moments of ball games, and that was a poor decision by the coaching staff.
Wide on 2nd down and 6 from the 14. Free play, end zone. Payne came down with it, but there is a flag, and I think Bailey was offsides.
Offside. Defense, number 19. 5-yard penalty. Replay, 2nd down.
It was Jaquan Bailey.
Wow, if you're Matt Campbell, you're thinking to yourself, what happened to my team? We're imploding. Jaquan Bailey there. Here's the deal. This team came in, and we've said it a few times today, as one of the least penalized teams in the country today. The most penalty yards in a game that they've given up this year.
Could be a quarterback run. Play clock running down. Thompson to Heath. Makes his man miss, reaching. And he is marked down inside the 1.
You got to spike it here. Get on the ball.
11 seconds to go. It's 1st and goal. The clock will start on the referee's signal. And now Iowa State has called a timeout.
Timeout.
And Ahmad, you're shaking your head.
Wow. I mean, it's hard not to go back to those bad decisions. You've allowed them to get back in the game with these seconds, and now it appeared as though he went down right at about the 1. And you got to give Kansas State credit here. They've handled themselves. They've been poised. You find Dominique Heath. We're talking a yard away. He almost gets in.
You have pretty much one play. You're out of timeouts. I don't know if there's time for 2 if you decide, maybe if you decide to throw, but with a yard to go, is a pass play, or is it keep it on the ground and take your one best shot?
I think it's a great question, and Alex Barnes is more of your power back. He's in the ball game, and maybe this is a perfect situation where you apply pressure with Skylar Thompson's feet. Maybe that run-pass option where you force the defense into a bad spot and then make them pay.
Thompson to the air for Pringle. Incomplete.
I like that shot.
It only took 2 seconds off the clock.
I like that shot from offensive coordinator Dana Dimmel. Despite Byron Pringle not having a catch in this ball game, it was one-on-one coverage out there with he and DeAndre Payne. And I believe Skylar, he threw a safe ball. You're taught to throw that at the back pylon. Pringle just couldn't get to the football, but I like that shot.
I agree with you, Ahmad. I like it too. And you're in a situation here where you can throw the ball one more time, and if it's incomplete, you have another shot as well.
Great point.
Thompson looking, changes direction, scrambling, end zone, touchdown! Isaiah Zuber for the lead! And the win! They are reviewing the play.
Pandemonium, bananas, miraculous. I'm running out of
The
adjectives.
previous play is under further review. However, by rule, because the point differential is lower than 2 points, the try in any case must be attempted.
Look at the ability to extend plays. And while he's doing this in my head, I'm going, oh no, the freshman is making a tremendous mistake. He's going to run out all of the time. His strength is what won this game. His ability to extend plays. And which way did he originally break? To his left. He comes back to his comfort zone towards his right. That's a touchdown. And how about this?
Field of a touchdown is confirmed by rule. By rule, Kansas State must line up for the point after. By rule.
And listen, Skylar Thompson, 7 of 9 for 78 yards and a touchdown. And if I am Kansas State, I kneel the ball here. I don't even give them a shot or a chance. All you're worrying about is the center quarterback exchange. What a ball game.
Skylar Thompson, the redshirt freshman, marching his team down the field in the final 2 minutes, putting on that Superman cape. He'll take a knee, and Kansas State ends its regular season with an exclamation point.
Skylar Thompson, welcome to stardom. Oh my goodness.
The Lion in winter still roars. Bill Snyder had a few magic tricks. There was the jump pass from Barnes to Dimmel. His defense for the second straight week comes up with a huge fourth quarter stop. And then the young freshman, Skylar Thompson, leading his team down the field in the final 2 minutes and finding Isaiah Zuber in the back of the end zone as time expired. And Kansas State makes it 10 straight wins against Iowa State. Farmageddon indeed.
Just a phenomenal play here from Skylar Thompson. He keeps his eyes up. He makes plays even when there's pressure in the pocket. His ability to extend plays through pocket movement, particularly to his right, was outstanding and exceptional today, and ended up being the reason why late in this ball game the Wildcats went to what had been working for them. Skylar Thompson and his magical abilities to buy time and to find the right man. Celebrate, young man, celebrate.
You look at what Skylar Thompson has done over the last quarter of this season, leading his team to a dramatic win in the regular season finale, leading his team to a road upset against a top 15 Oklahoma State team, coming off the bench to lead his team against Texas Tech from down double digits in the fourth quarter, and that was an overtime win. I'm sure it's going to be a quarterback competition with Thompson and Alex Delton in the spring. But Skylar Thompson banked a lot of currency, not just today, but over the last few games of this regular season. 20-19, K-State in dramatic fashion. We still have Civil War coming up on ESPN.